All right, welcome to Creator Hardware. Today we're going to talk about accessories for your server rack. Now the first one we're going to talk about is something that, well, every computer in your house should have, but most people don't think about it, and that is a UPS, a uninterruptible power supply. Now I'm surprised in none of my videos have I gotten called on this because I do not have a rack mounted UPS. I have a UPS, it's just a smaller one I repurposed while I'm waiting for a UPS that was supposed to be here yesterday. So unfortunately I don't have one rack mounted right now, which was supposed to be here for this video, but unfortunately I don't have one right now because United States Postal Service sucks. But anyway, that's an important accessory you should have no matter what, whether it's like I have a small, PC style UPS that is powering both my Unraid server as well as my Proxmox TrueNAS server and all my network gear. Again, I'm surprised no one's called me out in a video. I think I mentioned it like once in a video, but there's a UPS there. Now let's talk about a patch panel. Patch panels come in a variety of flavors. You have the punch down style, which I personally think is a pain in the butt, but probably a better way to connect. Then you have a patch panel that has permanent RJ45 ports or other ports depending on your needs. And then you have patch panels with removable keystones. Now those can come in really handy if you're going from fiber optic to RJ45 or something like that. So when you're looking to buy one, think about your future needs. I did a complete RJ45 patch panel and going probably towards fiber optic for some of my networking stuff. It probably is going to be, relegated to storage because eventually I'll switch over to some fiber optic stuff and, I'll have to do something different. So just something to consider when you're looking at a patch panel is future-proofing it. Best advice I have is probably get one that has removable, replaceable keystones so you can switch out however you need to configure it for your server rack. Shelving. Now this is something that I bought and I'm like, I probably won't use it, but it might come in handy. Well, actually a shelf is actually really useful. You can put like network routers on there. You can I have a printer on mine, and it seems like nothing really special, but when you actually use one, it comes in pretty handy. So if you've got the space in your rack, that shelf can also be used for stuff that is not normally rack mountable. Synology NAS, if you've got one of those, or Knox, or other, things that you just don't have a way to easily rack mount. It comes in really handy. Let's talk PDUs, power distribution unit. It is merely for distributing power through your rack. Now, if you've got a smaller rack like I do, it's not probably something you really are going to need too much. If you go to the big racks, it can come in really handy because instead of having to run a bunch of power cables all the way down to your UPSs, which if you've got a big rack, you probably have multiple UPSs. So if you've got a tall rack, you can take one PDU mounted up top, maybe one in the middle, one in the bottom, and you can distribute power evenly to allow for better cable management. A smaller rack, probably not as necessary and may actually take up more room than you want in a smaller rack like mine. My rack is relatively small, but it's filling up pretty fast. So something to consider when you're doing rack mounted stuff is future proof. Plan for what you're going to do in the future with your rack. I'm going to run out of space pretty quickly in my rack. Now I'm probably going to wind up having to go to a taller rack just to fit everything I want to fit in my server rack. I know this can be a very expensive hobby. It's better to, pay once, cry once, rather than having to go to something bigger. I mean, that's the thing. It's for me, my server rack, it's probably going to get replaced at some point. Not right now because it's fit my needs right now, but eventually it will have to expand simply because I'm going to run out of, U space. wanted to go over some of the accessories that when you're getting into home labbing that you might find you need. Some of this stuff is not glamorous. A UPS, they're expensive, but really important. A patch panel. You do need one? No, but it kind of helps you cable manage all the Ethernet or fiber optics or any of that kind of stuff. So it makes it a neater thing to service because, it's a rack, so we're going to service it. So I hope you found this video helpful. As always, thanks for watching. This is Creator Hardware.